never start.
Good afternoon. My name is Abiadi Damola and I'm a member of the Law Assent team. This afternoon I'll be sharing on the topic Practical Insights on the Finance Act. It is no news that President Muhammad Buhari on the 13th of January 2020 signed into law the proposed finance bill. This is a bill that has been much debated by members of the public, SMEs, tax practitioners, legal practitioners, and other professionals. One major advantage of the finance bill is its provisions on SMEs, that small medium businesses. And this is one unique distinction from the previous tax laws which have been enforced in Nigeria. And what I mean by these tax laws are the personal income tax, the company's income tax, the value added tax, petroleum profit tax, capital gains tax, and other taxes that are available to businesses in Nigeria. A major provision of the Finance Act is the provision that relates to SMEs, especially with regards to the taxes available to SMEs. Contrary to the old tax laws that has a flat rate on tax payables by SMEs, the Finance Act introduces thresholds. One major thing that the Finance Act introduces is thresholds for business owners. So this is to say that businesses now have different rates of tax, unlike what is applicable under the old tax laws, where all businesses are charged at the same rates. And another provision of the Finance Act, which is not part of what we have in the old tax law, is the requirement for tax identification number. I verily believe that some of us would have heard one or two people talk about the need for tax identification number before you can operate your bank accounts. The Finance Act provides that all business owners, be it business name, that is if you carry on your business as a sole proprietor, as long as it's registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission or an incorporated company, you have a duty or you are mandated to register for tax identification number with the tax authority, and that is the Federal Inland Revenue Service. Before you can operate your bank account or a corporate account, there is now a duty or a requirement of TIN to operate a bank account. Though this is a practice that bank officials have always requested or made part of the requirements to operate a bank account. But the Finance Act now documents the need for a tax identification number. So this is to say, if your business is registered and you do not have a tax identification number, you will not be able to operate a bank account. It is not just about being able to operate a bank account. If your business is registered as earlier on be registered and you do not have an existing tax identification number, there is now a duty to register for tax identification number, because without a tax identification number you will no longer be able to operate your account from 30th of January 2020. So that is one of the provisions on the Finance Act. Another change with the Finance Act brought to tax applicable to business owners is the creation of threshold, and I would be talking about this threshold starting on value added tax. There's a threshold for value added tax. There's also another threshold for companies income tax. And one of the fears of people when the finance bill was being proposed is the increment on VAT. The VAT Act now puts value added tax rates at the rate of 7.5%, contrary to 5%, and the increase is a 50% increase. So as much as there's an increase in tax rates, there's also a good side to the value added tax for SMEs. And this is because the Finance Act provides that all businesses now have a duty to charge VAT. But then, even though you have a duty to charge VAT on services and goods you render, there's a threshold there's a limit. So your business needs to be within a class before you can charge value added tax. And simply put, what I'm trying to say is if your business does not fall within the class of businesses that is expected to charge value added tax, you are not expected to charge value added tax. You're also not expected to file value added tax returns to the FRS. And talking about this class of business or this threshold, the Finance Act provides that only business owners whose turnover is to the tune of 25 million, that is your supplies. If you're able to supply goods and services to the tune of 25 million cumulatively in a year, then you have a duty to file value added tax returns, and you also have a duty to file to charge for VAT. So this is to say if your business is a small business and you are not making returns or you are not making supplies of goods and services to the tune of 25 million, you are exempted from value added tax provisions. And value added tax is one tax that business owners SMEs they've always had issues with, particularly with regards to SMEs. This class of business owners, why they are trying to scale up their business, why they are trying to focus on building the business, they also have the burden of meeting with the tax requirements. So the Finance Act 2020 brings a leverage for business owners. That is to say, it gives them an opportunity or an avenue to grow their businesses by the introduction of threshold. So this is to say that if your business is not making taxable supplies of goods and services to the tune of 25 million, you don't need to charge VAT for your businesses and you don't need to remit value added tax returns. So that is one good news about value added tax for SMEs. Irrespective of the increase in VAT rates, there's an exemption of people or class of businesses that is expected to charge value added tax. And the fact that, let me say at this point that the fact that they says that small businesses with total supplies to the tune of 25 million do not need to file for VAT return, that doesn't mean you can't be charged. So if you engage the service of a business that has the capacity to charge for value added tax, even though you're a small business, you'll be liable to pay value added tax for services that are being supplied to you, but you don't have a duty to charge for services you supply. So this is what I'm just trying to say is you have a duty to pay for VAT for services you patronize or goods you buy, but you don't have a duty to charge VAT for goods and services you supply. This kind of looks like a disadvantage to business owners because if you are charging VAT, VAT is a tax on the final consumer. So you are not a final consumer, you are just a middleman. So if the issue with the Finance Act now is for business name owners or small businesses, why you can be charged for VAT, you can't charge for VAT on your services. And I believe this issue will also be addressed on the long run. So going to companies income taxation, contrary to the old Companies Income Tax Act, all businesses, all companies, all incorporated companies in Nigeria, they are charged profits at the rate of 30% on incomes of the company. So under the old tax act, we have small businesses, medium-sized businesses, large companies paying the same tax rates at the rate of 30% on incomes. The Finance Act, on the other hand, and in line with the ease of doing business in Nigeria, creates a threshold. That is, it classifies companies into small companies. We now have medium companies and we now have large companies. So these classes of companies, they have different tax rates ranging from 0% to 30%. And the class of business with the 0% tax rate is small companies. And these are companies with turnover at the rate of 25 million naira. And for medium-sized companies, this class of companies are companies whose profits are above 25 million but below 100 million. So for a medium-sized company, the profits of such companies, and when I mean company, I mean limited liability company. So the profits of these companies will now be taxed at the rate of 20%. And where you have large company, that is companies whose turnover is above 100 million, they now have a tax liability on profit at the rate of 30%. So these are factors which you need or business owners need to take into note while calculating or while discussing or trying to understand their tax liability. So there is also a duty on business owners to classify their business. So if your business is a small business, you know that you have a zero tax rate on the incomes of your company. If your business is a medium business, a medium-sized business, based on the classification I said earlier, you have a duty to charge companies income tax or to pay companies income tax at the rate of 20%. And if your company is a large company, the tax liability of your company is at the rate of 30%, which is applicable under the old tax law. So we've said that small businesses don't have the requirements or the liability to pay for income tax on the earnings of their companies. However, that is not just the end of the provision of the Finance Act. The Finance Act says fine, you are exempted from filing tax, or you are exempted from paying tax on the interest on the income of your company. But as much as the company's income tax, as much as the company's income tax act exempt business owners, small business owners to be precise, from paying taxes, it imposes on them a duty to file returns. What I'm trying to say is, you are not paying tax on your income, but then you have a duty to file your annual returns with the FIRS. So failure to do this, the penalties for not filing for not filing your annual returns or for not filing tax returns will be applicable, even though you've been exempted from paying company's income tax on your profits. So the essence, I believe the essence of filing returns is to give the commission a knowledge about your business, to the fact that your business is not covered under a class of business which is expected to pay company's income tax. So that is the amendment brought under the company's income tax and tax rate, and I believe it's a very good one and it's a fair one for businesses, because we understand that we have small businesses, we have medium-sized businesses, and we have large businesses, and there should be equity, because one of the principles of taxation is that it must be equal and it must be fair. So people should be taxed on their level of income and not just a flat rate, which is unfair to small businesses. And another major amendment to the tax law is the introduction of taxation of digital businesses. So this is to say that if your business is being carried on under the digital space, that is, you don't have a significant presence in Nigeria. This is for foreign companies. If you're a foreigner or a Nigerian and you have a business outfit which is carried on outside the country, but you render services to Nigeria, there is now imposed tax on all the services. So business owners with foreign participation, or people that patronizes people with foreign businesses, they need to put this into consideration when purchasing items online or when dealing with people who do not have physical presence in Nigeria, because there is now a duty as an individual to withhold a portion of what is being paid as fees for services or what is being paid as fee for goods as tax and remit to the FIRS. This is not applicable under the old tax law, because every company has the duty to bear its tax liability themselves. But the new tax law is saying, if you are rendering service to someone in the Nigerian space but you carry on your business digitally, you don't have a physical presence in Nigeria, you have a duty to remit tax on behalf of the company in Nigeria. So this will be the end of our discussion today. We'll continue next week Thursday for another edition on insights on practical businesses in Nigeria. You can reach us on our Facebook page, that's Law Accent, at Law Accent, or you can also reach us on our Instagram handle at Law Accent for further inquiries. Thank you for watching.